This is why I love just coming on the trail so much. You know, I really need to get myself a proper little small adventure bike, little trail bike, just for this kind of thing. Love it, love it, love it, love it. My favourite kind of riding, really. RevelatorAlf. Ah, the heroic Harley. Looking very heroic on its adventures with me along with it. Right, so I'm going to talk about doing a little day camp here, lighting a fire and just keeping that fire going when you've only got really solid fuel bits and pieces with you. Let me show you. Now, you don't want to have a big roaring fire, you don't want to draw attention to yourself, but you just want, you know, you're feeling a bit cold, you want something to do. Now, as you know, I take one of these with me, really compact and lovely, and also cook with these little kind of fuel tablets, great. But also you can use paraffin lighters or whatever, little solid fuel starters. You can use just one of these if you want, you can get a fire going, of course. Now, I don't suppose they're designed for it, they're really designed for cooking, aren't they? But actually, this is only going to last about 12, 15 minutes, whatever, something like that. You could actually get a normal fire going, especially in winter, let's say, when everything's wet, and that'll give it time, everything else to dry off. Right, put one of those in there. Now, I always bring along with me these are bits of Dowling that you get anytime you do a bit of IKEA furniture building. You always get a few of these left over. Store them and then put them in a little bag and then take them with you. Right, so what you're going to do, you're going to light that and then pile these on around it. These are really slow burning, and then you can actually pile on little twigs if you've got those to hand. If you're in a, you know, in a foresty area, fine. If you're in a big open area, let's say grassland or whatever, probably not going to be you know, doable, really, is it? So you need something. You might want to take some fuel with you, longer lasting fuel. Right, let's do this. Light it off, and what I'm going to do is just surround it with bits of Dowling. These Dowling you can't light. I tried, and they just don't take at all. So they need a constant flame, really, and that's why that solid fuel thing is going to be really good. You see the flame coming? Now, obviously, you could use twigs instead of these, but what I'm saying is that if you're in an environment where it's going to be wet, and you know it's going to be wet, you can take some of these along with you, and at least you can warm yourself a little bit longer. You know what I mean? If you find some twigs and they're dry, pile them on. So the great thing about this is that you can use this to cook with, or you can use it as a fire starter to burn some other stuff. If you haven't got any dry sort of fuel around, just bring it along with you in the form of those bits of Dowling, and then have yourself a fire. The great thing about this is that cooking on solid tablet fuel is great for heating stuff up, but if you want to cook over a naked flame, nah, I'm not so sure. Let's say if you want to cook meat strips or whatever, this way you can create a little bed of wood fire. You brought your own wood fuel. You can set up your own little kebabs, whatever, put a little grill on top of here and do some meat, whatever. If you're a vegetarian, do some mushrooms or whatever. I mean, no, it's up to you, of course. There you go, look. Perfect. And a little bit of heat as well. On a cold day, that's really good. So there we go. You've got to set your own little fire. It's an easy fire starter, and also it's an easy way just to bring your own fuel with you, just for a very small fire. You can maybe cook something, heat something up. It will last longer than the fuel tablet. You'll save on those fuel tablets as well. Perfect, really. Well, I'm going to wait for this to burn down, warm my hands up, and get back on the bike for more muddy trails. Follow me along. Catch you again. Ta-da. Right, day camp is left. No trace. On I go. Trying to stay out of the muddy stuff. It's so slippery here. Do you know what? For the amount of rain that we've had recently, it's not bad at all. Beautiful.
Wow, this is totally different. It used to be just one rutted, muddy mess around here. Not anymore. They've really cleaned up this trail. They've made it really rideable for any bike. If this bike is doing it, then any bike can do it. Wow. So many places here to have a little camp, or a little day camp. I hadn't realised. We're out of it. We're out of it. Oh, I'm slipping all over the place here. Back wheel is just slipping. It's kind of this black clay, horrible slippery mud. There we go, on some firmer stuff now. Well, a bit of anywhere, anytime, any bike riding. I think if you're ever going to do this with just a road bike that isn't like a trail bike, number one thing to remember is this: you've got to keep the revs really low and low gear, and you just got to watch for the tyres just to slip out. Otherwise you're done for. You know, after all the coffee drinking and fire starting, I think there's actually a cafe here somewhere, supposedly. I wonder if it's still open. I wonder. I couldn't see a sign for it. Well, there we go. I think it's in that farm building there. All right, ta-da.